So I think it's recorded. Yep. So this is going to review for your finals. I think I sent an email to you guys that about the review for your finals and when is the final. So your final is actually next Tuesday. It's going to be at 2 o'clock till, no, it's 1:30 actually. It's 1:30 till 3:30. So it's a 2 hours finals. So it's 1:30 to 3:30. It's a 2 hours finals. As usual, that it will be posted in D2 and here and D12. So if you need to print out, I recommend to print out if you have a printer next to you. But if you don't have a printer next to you, just like usual, write on a piece of paper. You did it before, test 1 and test 2. Please write your name on it. And then once you got 2 hours to do your tests. I haven't done the finals yet. I'm doing a little bit of like 4 finals to prepare. So yours I haven't done your finals yet, but it's going to be in a team like 12, 13, 14 questions. So it's not going to be a lot of questions. And make sure you show your work. And then once you're done, just upload back to D2L under finals, assessment finals. And that would be something I would, and then your grade should be posted sometime by either Thursday or Friday. So it's going to be, it's going to be around that time. So if you check your grade right now, it's going to be your current grade. So if you go to D2I and check your grade, it's your current grade. I will put your attendance, your homework, and everything in it. Your homework is already, as you know that I think I dropped 2 lowers or 3 lowers. I think it's 2 lowers for your online homework score. The web assign automatically drop it. So you might not able to see the drop, which 2 is dropped, but if you want to see it, let me know because I will show it to you which 2 of the lowest one is dropped. So they kind of, the instructor version, they show everything, all the stuff and the dropping ones. For the student version, you don't see the drop piece. So so if you want to see the drop, I will show it to you which 2 is dropped, so you know which one it is. So so please check D2L for your current grade. So if something happens with attendance or your test points or anything, just let me know. I have to correct it. So please, 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 that is the first thing you guys need to do, because once it's there, if you haven't tell me, I'll use that point that you have. Okay, it's an error, then it might be an error. So if you catch my mistake, so let me know quickly. Okay. Do you guys have any questions, Anika and Summer, since you guys come in late for chapter 11, 3, 11, 5, because we're going to go straight to review for your finals here. Anika and Summer, do you have any questions for me?
I had one, but I can't think of it right now.
Okay, if you can think of it, can you put in the chat room?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. So to Summer, so you, please do type in the chat room if you have any questions. Right now, we're going to talk about is the finals, the review for your finals. So first thing first is this page is going to be provided to you. This is all about conics. Okay, so this whole page is going to be provided to you. The only thing that is missing on this page is how you find your foci. So for ellipses, it's like Pythagorean theorem. A squared instead of plus b squared, this is minus b squared equals to c squared. So this is how you find your ellipses that is not in here. For your hyperbola, it's going to be exactly like Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals to c squared. So this is what is missing. Also on the hyperbola is missing your asymptotes. So your asymptote, so if you have a transverse axis at the horizontal, it's gonna be y minus k. Oops, sorry, it's equal to plus minus. Now usually it's gonna be either a over b or b over a. How do I remember which one is which? I remember slope. So remember, this is a slope. Y equals mx plus b. This is a slope. And if you remember slope, slope is always difference of y over by difference of x. So if you look, it's y over x, right? If you find a slope formula. So if you look at here, your y in this case is b, and your x is a. So this is going to be b over a. And then x minus yh. So so what do I do usually when I look at this is for the asymptote, I always think about the y over x because slope is what change of y over change of x. So b over a. For this case, your asymptote will be exactly the same, but instead of a over b, it's going to be instead of b over a, it's going to be a over b. And the reason why is because your y is a and your x is b. So for the vertical one, the asymptote is going to be plus minus a over b. So this is the asymptote for this case. So these are something missing here in this formula here. So make sure you guys know this. And the rest of the formula in chapter 11 is also important. So I will go through a few of them later on. Has anyone got these parts? So exactly copy and paste on this, except for the red one is not in your finals. So you do not have to memorize it. How do we use this kind of formula is when they have what we call as a conic section. So these are the conic sections that they have. So you have to identify them. So this is the one that worth 12 points in your test, in your final test. So that's why I need to go over one more time with you guys. So you guys know what to do with it. Oops, sorry. Wow. So I'm going to go to question number 17. Again, this is the review for your finals here. This is the one that worth a lot of points. And I don't take attendance. I think I give everyone attendance already. So I don't take attendance today. So if you need to watch this back, go ahead and watch it back in YouTube. So in the link, I'll post it in there. Really, really strongly to watch, especially like these kind of questions that worth 12 points. You only got one. You only get one of these kind of questions here. So it will look something like this. Question number 17. So in order for us to figure out what kind of conic section is this, you have to do what we call as completing the square. And do you guys remember how you do completing the squares? What's the first step? There are like 5 steps, I think. And there's no shortcut, unfortunately. The first step.
Oh, you group the x's and you group the y's together?
Yep. And then you put the number after the equal sign. Yep, that is the first step. Thank you so much, Summer. That is correct. Okay. The second step is if you have a leading coefficient like an ax squared or ay squared, if you have a leading coefficient on your x squared and y squared, you have to factor it out. Okay, you have to factor it out. That means that we want your leading coefficient to be 1. Okay, so if your leading coefficient is not 1, it's no good. Okay. Third, your middle term, you have to take that middle term divided by 2 and you square it. And then you add this to both sides of the equation. And I want to put an asterisk here. This asterisk is telling us be careful with the factoring one, because if you have if you distribute this, if you factor out something out, this asterisk will be the important part. Is you do not need to add, let's say it's 9, you don't add 9 on that side, you have to add 9a, whatever a you factor out. Okay, so the asterisk is for you need to multiply the a here in this case. Let me just rewrite this. So you have to multiply a. If you factor any, you will see this in this question here. And then the fourth part is you just you got 3 terms. These 3 terms, it will factor, and the factor will be a perfect square. And the middle term is always half of your b. So this is the factor part. And then the last step for this conic section, you want to make this equals to 1. So you just divide everything into a number. Divide by a constant, so it's equal to 1. So I'm going to change, the reason I'm going to change a little bit of question 17, this is a plus. So we know this is either it's a ellipsis or a circle. I'm going to change this plus to become a minus now. So once I change this to become a minus, we know this is going to be a hyperbola. But do not forget, class, in your finals, you have to tell me is your hyperbola is on the vertical or horizontal transverse axis. So you have to tell me which axis is on. So that's why that with 2 points. One is for the conic section and one is it on the vertical or horizontal. So first thing first, we have to separate your, if you complete the square, we have to separate them. So you have x squared here minus 2x. Now don't forget that this 3y squared has a negative. So that negative will carry along. This is very important. And then the 30 plus 36y. And I will move the 100 over there. And once I move the 100, it becomes negative. So I'm kind of regrouping this, and don't forget this 3y squared. I changed. It used to be positive on question 17. I changed to negative because this is a bit more difficult. So this is the first step that we talk about. Second step, your leading coefficient. Now this is good news because that is your leading coefficient is 1 here. So there is nothing you need to factor out. But unfortunately for this one, you need to factor negative 3 out. When you factor negative 3 out, you will get y squared minus 12y. So don't forget that because when you distribute back, this is supposed to get positive 36y. So a lot of students put plus sign here. That is wrong. Because negative times positive is negative, but this is a positive. So do not forget that this is actually a negative 12y. A lot of students get that mistake. And if you got that mistake, then your HK center is all going to be messed up because of that one sign. Then what we do next is that's step 2. Step 3, we have to take the middle term and divide by 2 and square it. So this is correct. Huh. Did I write this question correct? So I take this middle term, negative 2, I divide it by 2, and I square it. So this is actually is 1. So I just need to plus 1 here, and I just need to plus 1 here. Okay, and this is good because there's no factor here. This one, I need to do the same thing. I take the negative 12, and I divide by 2, and I square it. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 squared, it becomes 36. So this is a plus 36 here. And when you distribute this, this is not, it's not plus, do not do plus 36 here. This is wrong. Because you need to distribute the negative 3 inside. So don't forget, you need to distribute the negative 3. So negative 3 times 36, this is 108. So this is negative 108. You guys all right? And then these 3 terms we can factor. So this is the step 3 that we do here, which is the take the middle term and divide by 2 and square. And the asterisk that I'm pointing out is right here. This is your asterisk here. Because you don't add 36, you actually minus 108 here. And then the last thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna factor. So last step 4 is to factor. So you have to take these 3 terms. When you factor it, you become perfect square, and this is x. And how you figure out this number is you take the minus 2 over 2, the b term divided by 2. So you get negative 1 here. And don't forget, this one have negative 3 here. And we do the same thing here, y, and we have to take the middle term, which is negative 12 divided by 2. So that's why we get negative 6. And don't forget, it's all square. And now we need calculators to add all these on. So this is negative 108 minus 100 plus 1. It's 207 negative. Okay, so I just add all these numbers up. So make sure you have a calculator to do it. Now, as the last step is we want to make this over 1. So I have to divide everything here by negative 207. Okay, so since we divide this by negative 207, we get 1 here. Now, the thing that you need to watch out here is because these two are negative, it becomes positive. And this is a negative. So that means that you actually switch it around. So your y actually is a positive term, your x is a negative term, and you have to reduce this. 207 divided by 3, you get 69. So this is actually 69 here. Okay. So so your conic section in this case will be y minus 6 squared over by 69, and this is positive because that's double negative here. This will be negative x minus 1 squared over 207, and this is equal to 1. So this is the conic section that we have in this case. I'm just double checking. Now, so once you get into this conic section, you will able to tell me which one is this? What kind of conic is this? So can someone tell me using this formula? Is that a circle, ellipse, hyperbola, or parabola? And then is it on the vertical or on the horizontal?
Is it a hyperbola?
Uh-huh.
And vertical.
Thank you. Okay, because your y come first, so this is a vertical. Okay. You guys all right here with this? Difficult? It's not done yet. This is just a part of it. All right, so what you need to know here is if you look at the formula, the center is HK. So you need to find the center. So the center in this case is HK. And HK in this case is this is your H, this is your K, and they are negative. So if you look at the formula, they're both negative. They're all negative. So what is HK in this case? No, sorry. This is K. My bad. This is K, and this is H. Sorry, because your X is switched around. So HK. So H in this case is 1, and K in this case is 6. If you guys tell me this is a hyperbola that is on the vertical, vertical means, is this going sideways like this? Or is it going up, down? Which one is a hyperbola that goes vertical? Vertical means your transverse axis is vertical. Vertical means you go up and down, right? So this is vertical. So that means that your graph for hyperbola here is going up, down. If it's a horizontal, then it's going to go left, right. So this is a vertical one. So as you guys know that your A in this case is A squared in this case is 69. Yep. Always the first, this is A squared. And B squared in this case is 207. Okay. Now we need to figure out your vertices. So how do you figure out your vertices? Is your vertex is right here. This is your vertex, sorry, right over here. Since your center is 1, 6, and as you guys remember, when you draw me a vertical line, all your y value is all going to be 6. Okay, because when you draw a vertical line, no, sorry, all your x value, my bad. All my x value is going to be the same. Sorry about that. Let me do that. All my x value will be 1, 1. Yep, because when you have a horizontal line, this is x equals to 1. So that means all your x value is going to be 1 in this case. And how do we know it's 1? It's because our h is 1 in this case. So in order for us to find your vertex in this case, it's going to be h, k plus minus a. So when you have a vertical one, it's going to be hk plus minus a. When you have a horizontal one, then your vertex will be h plus minus ak, the other way around. Okay, so it depends on your answer here, your vertical or horizontal. So when you take a square root of this, so your answer in this case will be 1. Your h is 1. My k is 6 plus minus square root of 69. Now we need to figure out foci. Foci will be h, k plus minus c. So we use c for foci. So this is your b, which is square root of 207. If you take a square of it. In order for us to find c, you have to use the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared is equals to c squared. A squared in this case is 69. This is 69. And b squared in this case is 207. So c squared in this case, you just add these two numbers. What is 69 plus 207? 276. And you take a square root of it. I don't know what's the square root of this. Let's see. No, it's not, it's icky. Let me just leave it there. Again, in your test, you won't get big number like this, like 69, 207. You probably will get a smaller number like 50 or 40 or 25 or something small. So I won't give you big number. And actually, don't forget, I changed the question here a little bit. So that's why it's icky here. So your foci in this case will be 1, 6 plus minus square root of 276. Okay, and then because it is a hyperbola, so you need to find the asymptote. So the asymptote is y minus 6, because I was 6 here, equals to plus minus, because your y in this case is your slope, so it's y over x, so it's square root of 69 over 207. So your slope in this case is plus minus a over b, which is a is square root of 69, b is root of 207, so it's 69 over 207, and then x minus 1. And I think, I don't know, you can 69, I think 69 and 207 can be reduced. You guys know how to use your calculator to reduce a fraction, right? Yep, 1/3. This is actually 1/3, nicely done. So I'm going to erase this and make this as 1/3. Is everyone doing okay here? Again, this is a bit tough because I changed it to minus. Usually I won't give you that tough. So this is your vertex, this is your center, this is your vertex, this is your foci, and that is your asymptote. Class, you do not need to solve for y here. I know when you guys do your online homework stuff, you solve for y, distribute this and then add 6. No, for my test, just leave, for me, you just leave it like that. I do not need to, I'm not teaching, I'm not showing you how to, you're not showing me how to distribute or stuff like that. So I would recommend you to just leave it like that. Don't do anything weird. And the last thing we're going to do here is graph. Again, this is all 12 points here. Since we know it's a hyperbola that goes up and down, so you do need to, it's a hyperbola, so you need to draw me that box. So first thing first is you have to do 1, 6 here. So x is 1, y is 6. So that is your center, which is very important. Okay. Then you do your A and B. Now, because your A is is the square of 69. What is square of 69? Is 8.3. So what this 8.3 here. So what you guys need to do here is this is your A. Since this is on your Y, and Y means you go up and down, so you actually have to go 8.3 up and 8.3 down. And this is your vertex. So this is square root of 69. So you have one that goes up and you have one that goes down. Okay. Your B is 207. So what is the square of 207? 14.4. So you have to actually go 14.4 to your right and 14.4 to your left. So that is your, this is your B, which is the square root of 207. Again, in my test, you won't get this icky number. It's going to be like 3 or 5. It will be nice. And it's not going to be so big like 14. And so now you guys got this, like kind of like, if it's an ellipse, then you can just connect these 4 dots and draw an ellipse. But since it's a hyperbola, these 4 dots will form a box. And then your asymptotes will be drawing from one end of the box, going to the other end, passing through the center. So you will get something like this and something like this. And since this is your vertex and is going, is opening up and down, so your graph will be really, really wide. So the green line that I draw is your hyperbola for this case. And this is super tough. The reason why I say this is super tough is because of this number, of this 207. Usually I will cut it smaller.
How did you get 1/3?
If you divide 69 and 207, if you reduce this using a calculator, this is actually 1/3. It's tough, and this is worth 12 points. I would recommend you to practice this. So there's a lot of, if that is, how many do I have here? There are like a few of them here. But I would recommend, if you need more, you can always go to the textbook. The textbook has a lot. So if you go to the textbook on 4.4, if you go to the homework 4.4, there is a lot of questions on this. So I would recommend you to practice it. So is that so this is 4.3. I thought I'm 4.4. The heck? So you go to 4.4 exercise. There will be a lot of this kind of questions over there. This one is all nicely factored, so don't do those. This is the one that I'm talking about. So the good news is they already tell you this is going to be in a circle. But in a test, you doesn't know this is a circle. Like this type is going to be a parabola. And there's a lot of questions like this, but they already tell you what is it. Like this one is going to be ellipses. They already tell you this is ellipse. But in the test, just pretend that you doesn't know this is ellipse. Okay. And then hyperbola is right here. And if you do the odd ones as all answers, so you can try to do the odd ones. And this is the one that I will say I want you to practice, is because you doesn't know if this is a circle or hyperbola or what. So this is the one that you get in your test. So it's 83 to 90. So if you want to practice a bit more, 83 to 90 on 4.4 homework, that would be something I would recommend you to do. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about is finding the standard equations. So this is the number 18 and 19. And there will be some word questions in your finals because it has chapter 11, when you do arithmetic and geometric, there is word questions on it. So, and same thing with conic section here. So let's talk about 18 here. So 18 is asking us to find an equation. And every time when I ask you guys to find an equation, I will tell you what kind. This case is the ellipse one. So that's the first thing. And the vertices is given us by 0, 2, and 8, 2. And a minor axis is 4. Then find the eccentricity of ellipse. So I won't ask you to find the eccentricity. So in the test, I won't ask you eccentricity. I will ask you to find the equation. Okay, I will ask you to find the equations of this ellipse. Okay, so the first thing first is I will recommend you to just draw a very quick sketch, because this fellow doesn't ask us to graph, but I will recommend you to draw a very quick sketch so you know if this is going to be a vertical or horizontal. So the vertices is 0, 2. So 0, 2, this is 0, 2. This is your vertex. And 8, 2, 8, 2 is right here, 8, 2. Okay, so 0, 2, 8, 2. And then, so you find out that if the vertex is given us on the same, so that means that this is going to be on a horizontal. This is horizontal, yep. So this ellipse is a horizontal one. Okay, since the vertices is on the strip in the. So how do we know it's horizontal or vertical? It depends on the vertices or the foci. If the vertices is on the same line as horizontal line, then it's a horizontal one. If it's on the vertical, then it's on the vertical. So so what you need to figure out is the center of it. So how do you find the center of this ellipse? Is you find the midpoint. You guys know how to find a midpoint of given you 2 points? Average them up. You know, average. So 0 plus 8 over 2. So you take the x values, you average it up. And then 2 plus 2 over 2 for the y. So your center in this case is what? 4, 2. Okay. So this is your center is 4, 2. So now you need to figure out your A and your B. Because if you look at the formula for ellipses, that is having your major axis is a horizontal. So that means we are using the first formula. This is an ellipse. The formula is x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals to 1. And the center is hk. We already found hk. So now we just need to figure out A and B here. Now, A is easily found by the picture here. A is always the center to the vertex. This is A. Always. Center to the vertex. Can someone tell me how far is it from here to here? That will be your A. This is 4, this is 8. So on here to here, they have to be the same, right? Because they are center is in the middle. So what is the distance from here to here or here to there? Yeah, that should be the same. Should be 4, right? And B actually comes from your minor, because if you look at the formula, Your minor axis is 2b. Your minor axis is 2b. So the minor axis is 2b, but it's given us that your minor here is 4. See that? We didn't use that. So what is b in this case? B in this case will be 2. So now we got HK and AB. You just plug it into this formula. This is your H, this is your K, and A and B here. And your answer will be X minus 4 squared plus Y minus 2 squared. And then this is over by A squared, 16. And this is 4, B squared equals to 1. So this is your answer in this case. And keep your answer in factor form. Please do not void this. Okay, do not void this. So that is your equations of this ellipse. So usually I will ask for equations. I won't ask for eccentricity. Okay, in the finals, I never ask eccentricity of an ellipse. So I will ask for the equation in this case. And this is how we do it. So every time when that question asks you to find the equation, draw a kind of a sketch picture. It will help you to visualize a little bit. Those who like to visual learning. If you try to do this on your own without this picture, it's going to be a little bit hard. So I would highly recommend you to do it. Okay. Same thing with number 19. This is the one that I asked you to form, is find the standard form equations of a hyperbola with the vertices of 0 plus minus 3, and the asymptote is this one. Okay. So again, how do we do this? This is hyperbola. So we have to kind of repeat the same thing we just did over here. So if you want to do a hyperbola, so the vertices is given us by 0 plus minus 3. And your asymptote is given us by y equals to plus minus 3 over 2x. So if you want, the first thing is we doesn't know if this is a horizontal or vertical hyperbola, but what we can do here is kind of sketch it out. So 0, 3, 0, 3 is here. This is 0, 3, this is your vertex. And 0 minus 3 is here. So this is negative 3 and this is positive 3. So can someone tell me, is this hyperbola is on the horizontal or is on the vertical? And explain why you say that. This hyperbola is going to be on the vertical because both your vertices is on the vertical line. So this is a vertical. Again, we have to find the center. And how do you find the center? Is the midpoint, like what we did on ellipse. How do you find the midpoint? Is you add them up and divide it by 2. 0 plus 0 divided by 2, we get 0. 3 minus 3 over 2. This is also 0. So that means that your center in this case is going to be at 0, 0. Can someone tell me another way to figure out the center is 0, 0 without doing this midpoint? There is another way for hyperbola. Is through the asymptotes. So if you look at your asymptote, it's only given you that y and x. Usually the asymptote is y minus h and x minus k. Since this only gave us y and x, means your h and k is 0, 0. Usually the asymptote will be like y minus 3 plus minus something x plus 2. So if I give you something like this, means that this is your h, this is your center, hk here. But since this is 0, 0 in this case, so that's why there's nothing next to it. So that's why we know the center is 0, 0. So let's take a look at your equation here first. So the formula for a hyperbola with a vertical is given us by this formula. This is a formula we are using. So I have no room. I'm going to write below here. So because it's a vertical one, so it's going to be y minus k squared over a squared minus x minus h squared over b squared equals to 1. And if you remember that your slope, as I mentioned in the beginning, is y over x. So that means it's a over b. This is your y and this is x. So in this case, you can tell by given us by this slope here. We know the 3 in this case will be your a, and 2 in this case will be your b. Because slope formula is y over x, change of y over change of x. So it's a over b. So we know this is a and b. Or you can look at here that this is your a. Okay, your vertices is a, and then automatically the other one is a b. So your answer, so since we know our hk is 0, 0, and a is 3, b is 2, so we can plug it into this formula. So your answer in this case will be y squared over 9, because my a is 3, you have to square it, minus x squared over 4, 2 squared, and equals to 1. So this is your answer for this number 19. And this is number 19. Okay. And if you guys want to, this is your answer for him. Yep. Don't forget to square your a and square your b. So if you want to practice a bit more on this kind of equation type, you can also look at your textbook, and they all have all these fine equation for the hyperbola for these cases. You see that? So this is for hyperbola. And then if you go up to ellipses, they will ask for the equation for the ellipses. This is the equation for the ellipses. So everything you do here is all on 4.4. So I would recommend do not just forget 4.3 and concentrate on 4.4. So those are the ellipses, and this is the for the find the equation for the parabola. Okay. So not concentrate a lot on circles, as you can mention. So mostly in your test, it's either a parabola, an ellipse, or a hyperbola. So I'm not really much looking at circle. It can, but I don't think so. We come out circles. Too easy. Okay. So next thing we're gonna talk about here is chapter 11. Okay. So the usually I won't give you this kind of, okay, I'll give you number 2 here. Because in the test, I will ask you, I will ask you for give me an expression appearance in this case where n begin to 1. Okay. And so I will give you 3 over 1. 4 over, I wouldn't be so nice giving you 2 factorial like this. I will give you 2. And I won't reduce this. 5 over 6, that is actually 3 factorial. 6 over 24, which is a 4 factorial. And then 7 over 120, which is a 5 factorial. So I won't give you nice that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factorial is in your finals. I'll give you 1, 2, 6, 24, 120. So make sure you guys know these numbers. It means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factorial in this case. Okay. So how do we write this in the an term? So in this case, n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you kind of know that on the bottom. If I give you like this, we know this is going to be n factorial here. Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factorial. So, so in the test, I will kind of give you this number instead of those. And now you need to figure out what kind of sequence is this? Arithmetic or geometric? This is an arithmetic sequence. And remember how we figure out the terms for arithmetic sequence? A1 plus n minus 1d. And what is my A1? My A1 is the first term. In this case, is 3 plus n minus 1. And what is D? D is the common difference. So we keep on adding 1. So D is 1 here. So this is actually is 3 plus n minus 1. And if you simplify this, this is 1 plus n. Not 1, 2, sorry, 2 plus n. 3 minus 1 is 2. So this is the formula for this number 2. So make sure you guys know that if this is arithmetic sequence, make sure you use this formula. And make sure you plug in A and D in here. And then once you get your answer, you plug it in. This is if you have a geometric sequence, then your formula is A1 R to the power of n minus 1. So make sure you guys know the formula for these two. Depends on geometric. Factorial is this 1, 2, 6, 24, 120. So make sure, again, this is something that I really, really, really want you guys to figure this one out. Okay. Next, the question is asking us to write the next 3 terms of this series, number 3. But usually in the test, I won't ask you to write the 3 terms. I want you to find the 7th partial sum. So it's 8, 21, 34, 47, and I want you to find the 7th partial sum. So does anyone know how to do question 3? I want you to find the 7th partial sum in this case. So you just need to find the next 3 terms, like what the question says, and what you do with them is add them up. So can someone tell me, is this an arithmetic sequence or geometric sequence here?
Arithmetic.
Yep, this is arithmetic. So what do we keep on adding here to get the next one?
13.
13. So you can figure out what is the next one is. Anyone? I'll just go to the 7. So 47, so your difference here is 13. So what's the next one will be 60, right? And what is the next one? 73, right? And what's the last one? Because you got 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. And what's the last one in this case? 86. Okay. If you want to be really, really, and we're going to add, then you keep on adding this. Okay, because that's what it means. Partial sum means add all this. If you want to use a formula, we can use a formula Sn n over 2 a1 plus an, the first and the last term. So how many terms we have to add here? We have to add 7 terms. And then the first term is 8, and the last term is 86. So add them. Now I'll do this. So 7 over 2, which is 3.5, times with 8 plus 86. So it's 329. You guys all right? Now in the test, I won't call you to add up to 7th terms. In the test, I want you to add up to 57 terms. Now, I don't want you to keep on adding 13 till 57. So does anyone know how to add to the 57 terms? Not 7. This is answer for 7 terms. I want 57 terms. Anyone know how to do this? This is in your test. Finals next week. And again, make sure you look at the pattern and tell me this is arithmetic first. That's the first thing you do. Make sure you know the patterns. So first thing is, can you find the 57 terms here? Given us D is 13. And what is your first term in this case? First term is 8, right? So what is the 57 terms? You have to use this formula. So it's 8 plus 56, because 57 minus 1 is 56, times with 13. That's your D. Anyone know what's 57 terms here? Calculator. 56 times 13 plus 8. 736. So now what you do is you use this formula to find your 57 terms. And in this case is 57, because you add all of the way to 57. A1 is 8. And the last term is 736 that you figure out. And whatever you get here in your calculator, that will be your answer. And it's going to be a big number. You guys all right here with this one? Questions? I think you guys know how to use a calculator to figure that one out. Next question we're talking about is, yeah, very good. This one, number 4. This is the one Summer asked me last week on your homework. The 5th term of an arithmetic sequence. So the question that will tell us is an arithmetic sequence. The 5th term, A5 in this case, is 45. And the 12th terms, A12, is 24. So you know the number's getting smaller here. So that means your difference is negative. The common difference, D, is negative. So the question is asking us to find the AN terms. So as you know that AN terms, the formula is A1 plus N minus 1D. So we need to figure out your A1 and D. So if you know that, good. If you doesn't know this, you will have a difficult time. So can someone tell me how you figure out D first? D is the first thing you figure out. Summer, you still remember?
Yeah, it would be like you take like A5 and then minus A12. So it's like
the other way around. So you always take the biggest term first. A12 minus A5.
And then it would be 7D.
And how do you get 7 here?
The difference is like 7 minus 5.
Yep. So 7D means 7. You got 7 terms from A5 to A12. So 12 minus 5, 7D. And A12 in this case is 24, right? And A5 in this case is 41. This is 7D. And does anyone know what's 24? Then you divide by 7. Then you have find your D here. Yep, this is the way for us to do it. 24 minus 45 divided by 7. Your answer is -3. Now, if your answer came out to be icky decimal number, -2.5837, whatever you get, that means something is wrong. Usually D in this class is going to be nice number like 3 or -3. So if you get something weird, like -2 point something, decimals, something is wrong with the D here. Okay. So now we know D. Next, we need to find A1. So we can use back this formula, A5 minus A1, because we had 5 A1, and this is 4D, because the difference between 5 and 1 is 4. A5 is 45. A1, I do not know. We need to find that one. 4 times D, D is -3. That we found earlier on. So this is an easy solving question. So this is negative 12. So move things around. So A1 in this case is what? 45 plus 12, right? Which is 57. And now what you do is just plug it into this formula here, and you get your answer. I think you guys know what to do next. I didn't finish this question, but I think you guys know what to do once you get into here. This is for arithmetic. And now I will do one. Number 5 is asking for geometric sequence. So it's the kind of the same thing. It says that the second term of this geometric sequence, that means A2 is 14. And the sixth term is 224. So A6 is 224. Okay. You have to find the n term, same questions. But because it's a geometric sequence, the formula is a little bit different from the arithmetic ones. So we don't do 7D or 5D or 4D because that's arithmetic. We use R. And the same thing we did like arithmetic here, you just do A6. Now we do not subtract, like if you do A6 minus A2 equals to 4R, this is going to be wrong. Okay. Don't forget, this is not arithmetic, this is geometric. So what is the correct way to do this, to find R, because we always need to find R first, okay, is divide. Don't forget, we have to divide here. Arithmetic, we add and subtract. Geometric, we always multiply, divide, so we divide. So it's going to be A6 divided by A2 is R to the power of 4. So this is usually what we do here is we don't see the difference between arithmetic and geometric here. So it's not 4D or whatever, it's R to the power of 4 because at geometric we power it. We know A6 is 224 and A2 is 14. So let's divide this up. What's 224 divided by 14? 16. So A4 in this case is 16. And now we take a double. If you have a fourth root, means you double square root for this 2. Because fourth root means you double square it. So square of 16 is 4. Square of 4 is 2. Now don't forget, it can be plus or minus. So should we pick plus or should we pick minus? If the question did mention that this is a sequence are positive, so you kind of know that this is a plus. Or another way we figure out is your terms. Your terms are getting bigger and bigger. See that A2? So we know your R here is positive 2. Okay. Next, we need to find is your A1. So you can use back the same thing here. A2 over by A1 is equals to R because you got only one difference here. And we know A2 is 14. A1 is A1 and R is 2. So can someone tell me what is A1 is? 14 divided by 2, which in this case is 7. So your answer in this case is 7, parenthesis 2 to the power of n minus 1. Again, class, I do recommend you guys to practice this. And where do you practice this? You can do it on your online homework. There are some questions your online will look something like this. Do practice that. Okay. We're not going to do number 6. Please do not do number 6 because it's very difficult. But the other 2 you can do it. 6 is bad. Do not do number 6. It's super tough because of a formula I did not teach you guys. So every time when you do 7 or 8 or 9, the first thing you need to tell me is 7 an arithmetic or geometric? 8 and 9. So you have to know this. Seven, is that arithmetic or geometric?
I would say it's arithmetic for 7
Why you say that, Shelley?
because it's got a subtraction in it.
Yep. So if it's addition and subtraction, it's usually arithmetic. How about 8 and 9?
Geometric or the
Yep, it's geometric because it's been multiplied. Okay. So this is a sum. So we do the summation. So arithmetic is the Sn n over 2 a1 plus an. This is a formula for the arithmetic one that I think we did before. So what you need to do here is n we know is 9. So in this case, n in this case is 9 because we add up to 9. So how do you find A1? A1 in this case, you just plug 1 for your n. So can someone tell me what is A1 in this case when you plug n become 1? So 12 minus 7, which is 5, right? And now we need to find an because our last term is a 9th term. So you plug 9 into your n. So what is 12 times 9 minus 7? Okay, make sure you have a calculator. 101. So what you do here is just plug all this back into here. 9 over 2, 5 plus 101. And you get your answer. If you look at 8 and 9, what is the difference between 8 and 9 is they are geometric. Oh, they are both infinity. So if they're both infinity, then the formula you use is very easy. Infinity. A1 over by 1 minus R. This is an easy formula if it's infinity. Make sure R in this case is what? After R is less than 1. Okay. So again, for this question 8, you just need to figure out what is A1 is and what is R is. So can someone tell me what is A1 in this question 8? I don't say it's 4. So you do have to plug 1 in here. Your I become 1. So what happens when I become 1? You get what? 4 times half. And 4 times half is 2. And does anyone know what is R in this case? I always tell in the last week of class, R is always inside where? Inside the parentheses, right? In this case, it's 1/2. And since it is less than 1, we can use this formula. So 2 over by 1/2. You try to do question 9. 9 is the same thing, but I do want to do one that is not going infinity. So let's do 9. I'm going to do question 10 because I erased that question 10. 6 I equals to 0. 3 1 over, let me do 1 over. That's too easy. 2 to the I. So this is 10, special one. So this is a geometric sequence because it's been multiplied. And because it's not infinity, this is go up to 6. Does anyone remember the formula for this one when it's a sum up to a finite? A1 times 1 minus R to the n over by 1 minus R. And because we want to add till 6, what is my n in this case? Anyone?
6.
That will be wrong. So don't give me 6.
7?
Yes, 6 is wrong. So Summer, why you say 7 now?
Because I is 0.
Yes, correct. Because you got 0. If you count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you actually have 7 numbers. So that's why it's up to 7. So just be careful with this one. I just want to point out to you. So instead of A1, we're going to use A0 here because since we start from 0. So now you need to find what is A0, which is your first term. So what happens when you plug 0 into your I here? What you get? You will get 3 because 2 to the power of 0 is 1 and 3 times 1 is 3. And R is always inside this parenthesis, which is 2 in this case. So I want you guys to take out your calculator and start putting your n is 7, sorry. Putting all this information into your formula here. A0 is 3 and R is 2, so it becomes 3, 1 minus 2 sevenths over by 1 minus 2. And I want you guys to really take out your calculator and figure out, because I cannot help you in that finals. When you say, David, I have a question with this calculator, I was like, sorry, can't help you. So now I can figure out what's going on. Anyone go ahead and answer here? Summer? Sally, Brian, you guys go ahead and answer.
381.
I'm sorry?
381.
Yep, that's good. Yep. You guys good with 381?
I got that.
Yep. Sally, you okay?
Yeah, I was, yeah, yep.
Again, make sure you practice this. This is something that in your calculator that you need to practice. And that is the correct answer. The next one is the binomial one. So you guys okay? The binomial one is like number 11, where they want you to use the binomial theorem to write x plus 6y to the power of 4. You do not need to do number 12 because I won't call you do this icky stuff. I probably call you do like number 11, and then we'll do 13 together. So using the Pascal triangle, 4, does anyone remember what happens when you have 4? If you cannot, you can just do like yourself, 1, 1, 1, and then 1, and then 1. Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the middle one, you get 2. And then this will give us 3. And then this will give us 3.
Okay.
This is, no, this is 0. This is 1, 2. No, this is, sorry. This is 0. This is power 2. This is power 3. Because usually you got one more term. So when you have 4, power 4, you should have 5 terms. So actually I need to go one more. And then you add 1 plus 3 is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 1 is 4. So your Pascal triangle in this case is 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. I probably just came up with this question. Good enough. And then what you need to do next is your A. You power it to the 4th. You power it to the 3rd. You power it to the 2nd. 1. And then the last one, you just leave it blank or 0. So this is for your A term. Your B term, you start with 0 first, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. And then because it's a plus, so everything is positive. I did mention when you have minus sign, right? Your sign will be alternating, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus. Okay. But if it's a plus, everything is plus. So now what we do here is we just need to figure this one out. This is x4. This is 4 times 6 here, plus. So 4 times 6 is 24. X cubed y. This is 6 times 6 squared. So 6 times 6 times 6, 216. X squared, y squared. And then this one is 6 to the power of 3 times 4. So it's 864 xy cubed. So 6 cubed is that, times 4 is 6. And then the last one is 6 to the power of 4. 1296 by 4. So usually I will give you like, again, 4 or 5 is the highest I go. I won't go like to a big number. So so the Pascal triangle will be the best to do. So make sure you guys know how to do this. This is quite, I think if you guys did your homework for this week, you should know. This looks very similar to this one. And the last question we're going to talk about here is number 13. I won't do 12 because it's a bit difficult. This is a lot more work. So ignore 12. 13. They want you to find the coefficient of A4B3 given us by 3a minus 2b to the power of 7. 3a minus 2b to the power of 7. So in this case, we have to figure out what is your NR. We know x in this case is 3a, and then y in this case is negative 2b, because this is your a and your first. N in this case is 7, because this is a power of 7. Now, in order for us to figure out your R is the term that you have. So if you look carefully here, the R in this case is 0. The R in this case is 1. The R in this case is 2, 3, and 4. So mostly your R in this case depends on your power. Okay. Since your last one here is, so this match with the last R power. So if you look at the term here, so when you see 3 here, your R in this case will be 3. So in order for us to figure out what is the constant term here, we have to use the formula, which do not worry about this. I won't come up with this in your test because the formula is going to be really tough. Otherwise, no, don't use the formula. Use the Pascal triangle. So this is we had to do until 7. Oh my God, I don't have no room for that. 1 and 1, so this is 5. So you get 5, 10, 10, 5. 6. 1 plus 5 is 6. 15, 20, 15, and 6. And now we do 7. So this is for 7, which is this fellow. 1 and 1 again. 1 plus 6 is 7. 6 plus 15 is 21. 35, 35, 21, and 7. Now, because when you have R is 3, you count them. This is what 0, 1, 2, 3. So R is 3 in this case is this one. So it's 35. A to the power of 4 and B to the power of 3. So this is your X is 3A and Y is negative 2B. So the 4 and 3 use this fellow. 35 come from here. Don't forget you count 0 first because our first term is always 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3 because R is 3 means 3. So then what you need to do is take out your calculator and figure out what is 35 times 3 to the power of 4 times negative 2 to the power of 3. And that will be your answer in this case. The A is this whole thing is your A. And this whole thing will be your B. And then we use 4 and 3. So 35 times 3 to the power of 4 times negative 2 to the power of 3. Ooh, big number. Negative 22680. So that will be the coefficient in this case. You guys all right? Again, I'm not gonna do a big one. I probably will do up to 6. I really want to go call to do up to 7. Okay, because the Pascal triangle is getting bigger and bigger, as you can tell that. So I'll probably do up to 6. So 0. So start with 0 first, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, I think is a lot. So 6 will be the one that I will ask mostly for you guys to do. So do not worry about doing bigger than 6. Make sure you know how to build the Pascal triangle. I think that will be one of questions says build the Pascal triangle up to power 6. So you have that to refer to it when you guys start doing these kind of questions in your finals. So make sure you guys know how to do your Pascal triangles. You guys know how to do your Pascal triangles, right? Just practice, it's not that difficult. Anyone have any questions? So this is the end for the review for this case. Don't do 12. There are some questions I would not recommend you to do, like 6 will not be do it. Don't do 12 because that's too difficult. It's just a lot of work for do 12. This one you can do mostly of them. Yeah, except I don't call it to find the eccentricity. Just give me the equation in this case. I don't ask for eccentricity in the test. Okay. Just equation. Anyone have any questions for me? And there are a lot of, I would recommend also start, this is not a lot of questions. If you want to have more questions, go to your textbook. They have quite a bit more questions on each section. So if you know you're weak on certain things like geometric, sequence, or maybe the binomial, go on to the end of exercise and practice those. If you can practice like 3 or 4 questions, it will really, really help you in this case. Okay. So anyone have any questions for me before we end our Zoom lesson today?
Isn't question 20 from the chapter test similar to the question from the homework?
20?
Yeah, it's like the
a parabola arch. Yeah, it is. It looks exact. Yeah, it looks. Instead of so question 20 that you're asking for, Summer, is it has a picture. Do you see the picture on question 20? It's right over here. This is question 20 picture. This is question 20. So it's a parabola with a vertex 0, 16, and the height is this. That question is how wide is the arc way? So that means how wide is this? So first you have to figure out what formula you use in this case Do you know what formula we use on question 20?
Is it semi-par?
This is not ellipse. This is parabola.
Oh,
This is parabolic, not elliptical or hyperbolic. So it's going to be a parabola. Is your axis is on the horizontal or vertical?
vertical.
Because your vertex is on the vertical, this is open, so it's on vertical. So which is the this one. So this is the formula you use. So I'm gonna write it out. So the formula is x minus h squared equals to 4py minus k. That's the formula. Okay. So next we need to do here is we have to because we know the center, which is 0, 16, the center, your vertex, sorry, this is your vertex. 0, 16 means this is your h, this is your k. So if you plug this inside here, you will get x squared, because my h is 0, 4py minus 16. So you have to pick one point to find p. So I'll pick 6, 14 because that's positive, and that is my xy. So I will substitute them inside here to find p. So 6 squared equals to 4p, 14 minus 16. So this is 36. This is -2, so -8p. So p in this case will be 36 over by -8, which I can reduce become 9/2. So now I got the equation. X squared equals to 4 times -9/2 times y minus 16. And I can kind of reduce this because this can be cut by dy by 2. So x squared in this case is -18 times y minus 16. So now the question is asking for what is the distance? How wide is the archway at the ground level? So this is the ground level. So when the ground level means that that's 0, that means your y is 0. Okay. So in order for us to figure out what is this value is, your y in this case is 0. So you substitute inside here. So x squared in this case is -18 times -16. I don't know what is that number is. 18 times 16, 288. And then you take a square root of it. So square root of 288. So this is 288. This will give me it's almost 17, 16.97. So that means that this from 0 to here is 16.97. And from 0 to that is also 16.97. So the width for this whole thing, you just double it. So multiply this by 2. So your answer is, the width in this case will be 33.94, close to 34. You okay there, Summer?
Kinda, it's just like a lot, so I might go back and see how you do this.
Yeah. So yeah, you had to find the p first so that you can get into the equation. And once you get into the equation, you just substitute y equals to 0 and find x. And that is only, when you find x, is only for 1. The other 2 is the same. So you have to double it. It's different from the homework you do because the homework one, I think, is elliptical, right? and this is a parabolic. So, all right. So I have running out of time here. So if you have any questions, please let me know. So I will email me. So don't forget your test is next Tuesday at 1:30 and at 3:30. Okay.